I'm talking with Cathy Iwane, who is our nuclear hot seat correspondent in Japan on the ground. She is in Wakayama Prefecture. And Cathy, first of all, welcome to Nuclear Hot Seat by Skype.
Thank you, Libby. It's good to be here.
And you have got a great perspective, so I'd like you to bring us up to speed on the entire issue around radiation monitoring that you've been dealing with in your prefecture. And beyond that, we're going to talk about the burning of nuclear waste. But start us out. What has it been like there, and how have you been keeping up with the radiation monitoring?
Well, for starters, there actually has been in essence, no radiation monitoring here, and so that was really key for me after the disaster last year to actually get a Geiger counter, although that is limited, as we all know, as to what actual isotopes are measured. However, it's a good measure because when two or three, if you have cesium and you have strontium, then we can then deduct that there are other radioisotopes in the vicinity. However, as of last May, there was nothing going on, and only recently have they instituted any sort of testing down south in terms of checking at the fisheries. And so that, was a very, very big concern. From the get-go, Monbusho, which is the Ministry of Education, had instituted online in several languages one sort of radiation monitoring graph, and they would sort of put it in order of the dirtiest, most radioactive areas, obviously northeast Japan, closer to Fukushima.
Right,
And then
you
down
are
the line,
located. You are located. You said 241 kilometers from Fukushima, which is about 350 to
600.
400 miles away.
Right, it's about 641. That's right. That's right. So, but however, their levels do not coincide. Those online levels do not coincide with the levels that myself and or neighbors who do regular measurements on their Geigers for atmosphere and background. And so that became a number one. The radar went up in terms of is this okay to trust? Well, I'm not quite sure it is. And then, of course, the schools in the prefecture were not testing for school lunches, blah, 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 blah. And so that sort of, in essence, gives you the history of what we have until today, which very interesting, very ironically, actually, the timing is impeccable. We have in the newspaper today, Wakayama City, 1 year and 1 month after the actual disaster, has decided to institute background radiation checks, and some of those radiation checks will take place at the local incinerators for regular waste management and disposal, incineration. And I took this sort of as an alarm, thinking that, wow, this is one step preparing for the burning of radioactive material. Now, we'll get on to that later, but
Let's get on to that now,
okay.
because that I know is a primary concern. You've been working very hard with other activists in Japan to bring pressure on the government, the local government, to refuse the burning of the radioactive waste in Wakayama Prefecture. How has that been going? I know that you thought you had a big win on this, and maybe it's there, maybe it isn't. What has the situation been like?
Okay. We have had a series of events these last 2 to 3 months in the Kansai area, which means southwest of Japan, and that is basically Kyoto, which is 2 hours away from us, Osaka, 1 hour away from us, as well as Hyogo near Kobe, and then another island south of us, 2 hours, Shikoku Island, which there is another municipality, Kochi, that has accepted rubble officially. None of these places have officially started burning. However, we were on this right away, petitioning local government, prefectural government, as well as some of our national representatives in Parliament. Now, last Friday, the 7th, in the newspaper, the prefecture had made an announcement, as you know, saying, yes, all 30 entities that vote on such decisions in the local government inside our prefecture, that includes towns, cities, villages, 30 of them make up our prefecture, had voted unanimously. And we were just sort of over the moon, Well, of course, there was a statement put out. This statement was put out by the prefecture, and politically they are against the acceptance of Rubble. Now, yesterday I spoke with the waste management, the head of waste management at the city hall, and he said, no, Iwate prefecture, they are our sister prefecture, and we have sort of a contract in the event of a natural disaster or any sort of situation like that, we take care of each other. Well, obviously, taking care, quote unquote, means taking one another's rubble, debris, and obviously disposing of that. In this case, it's radioactive. So they took this public decision, saying, quite hard, and they said, well, gosh, you guys aren't going to take care of us. So I went round and round with this official yesterday on the phone, and, lo and behold, we are back to square one, but it is only the city. And so my hope is, as well as my husband, he seems to be very, very connected information-wise, politically, our mayor, this is just, and I can't speak on the record or officially, my gut feeling is that, yes, there is preparation. And
preparation
for burning. Now, when you see a headline that says, oh, they're starting to measure radiation at the incinerators, that would tell one that, oh, yes, they are preparing so that they have before and after measurements. They are, in essence, that is one measure to take care of the, quote unquote, the health of the citizens or whatever. Now, my husband looks at it and says, well...
Excuse me, there was some breakup on the line. Can you just repeat that last part? That you think that it's in preparation for...
some people in our group, and I would imagine citizens who are not even connected with our group, would then lead them to think such announcements in the paper that would tell publicly the citizenry that, yes, we are measuring radiation levels at the incinerator, that would lead us to believe that, yes, they are preparing for such acceptance of radioactive debris.
Now, what has been the action you've taken? I know that I've received and passed along, shared many posts about asking for letters to go to members of your government. How effective has that been?
Well, it's been interesting. There's been a large call, especially in Osaka and with our group in Wakayama. Now, Osaka is another prefecture, an hour to the west of us, that we were working very, very hard on, because we never really believed or even imagined that Wakayama would accept Rubble. We were able to fight off a nuclear power plant, not we, but the head of my group. She's an amazing woman, 25, 30 years my senior. She fought off an actual plant coming into our prefecture, ironically, against a politician that my husband worked for. So this is a crazy situation we're in, and the focus has been, we need petition letters. We need pressure from the international outside of Japan, because there is such apathy inside of Japan that at least if the officials can see that, hey, you are on the world stage, the world is watching the decisions you are making. Now, this is the message that I was given from a city councilwoman in Osaka. And then we took that one step further and took it to our city council officials here in Wakayama, as well as petitioning the mayor. So we were under the impression that thus far, I have information from friends in, friends of how would you say, freelance journalists working for activists. And so the decision in Osaka to burn has been postponed for up to 9 months. And that has to do primarily with how would you say, plenary sessions being postponed, votes just going into overtime. They just cannot decide. And so that is one thing we have on our side. And there are several hurdles that Wakayama City as well will have to pass. They can't just vote on it next month and then they'll do it the next day. There are several things that need to be taken care of in the interim. However, the alarming news this morning in in mainstream news that they are taking radiation measurements, is going to solidify our group to decide a next strategy. Is it time for serious protest? A lot of people are against that here. So that's where we are.
So if we at Nuclear Hot Seat and beyond us, anybody who is hearing this report could be of service to you, could support you in protest, in petition, in letters, what is the best thing that we can do for you to help support you in keeping the burning of radioactive waste out of your prefecture and beyond that, the other prefectures in Japan as well, and get them to stop this insane policy?
Oh, that's a great question, Libby. We have a really nice petition going. The petition I used last year, which was going around the world, and I think you actually saw the petition that was written by a friend in New York, Fabulous, the leader of the One World No Nukes organization. And this was written in 6 different languages, went around the world, and we had a big action on November 2nd at the Japanese embassies all around the world, and as well in Wakayama. That was the day that myself and my small group got together and we petitioned our local government prefecture as well as the parliamentary representatives. Now, that was wonderful. It was a good action in various languages with a lot of publicity as far as, Germany, India, San Francisco, Tokyo, everywhere. However, this one, the one that I will have to send you, I don't have it in front of me, but we've just started this petition, myself and also Carly and her partner Yuki Wada. They were the ones who put this. It's online. It goes to 38 local governments. Each time anyone signs this petition, what happens is a petition letter against protesting the fact that the national government is still spreading rubble, radioactive rubble around, paying these municipalities to accept rubble and then to burn it and then to dump it in our oceans, furthering radioactive contamination. This is a wonderful petition because it's online, it's easy, it's in 2 languages.
Okay, and where is it located?
Okay, that, Libby, I will give you. It's on, to date, we're looking for at least 10,000 signatures, but I think as of now, we only have about 300, and it's on my wall. I can send it to you. I'm so sorry. I don't have it right in front of me. It's sort of unpacking.
That's okay. We will, when you send it to me, I will post it on Nuclear Hot Seat. We will send it out over Facebook. This has to go viral because
Definitely.
You people need the support and we're behind you. We just needed to have a conduit so that we could make it happen for you. In closing, we're right at the end of the recording time on this system, but in closing, is there anything that you want to say to the people who are listening?
I just want to say that if you can, if all of us out there can take a moment to research on the actual data, the actual numbers, it's one thing to get emotional and to hear the stories. That's very, very important. But we have the same GE Mark I reactors in the United States. I'm heading to the United States, but I'm heading into another typhoon over there. This is a problem that is it's a global problem, and I really, really appreciate all of the work that so many people on so many areas are doing for Japan. However, we all need to act locally and think globally in our actions because there are so many reactors in the United States, San Onofre, Indian Point. We've got an initiative in California. Hopefully that will be put on the 2012 ballot. We really cannot, our planet cannot afford another Fukushima. So please think locally when you go to vote. Research your representatives' positions and put the pressure on. Thank you.
Cathy Iwane, reporting directly from Wakayama Prefecture in Japan for Nuclear Hot Seat. Thank you so much for being with us, Cathy.
Thanks so much, Libby.